Hey, all right. Welcome to another session of Conversations with Geoff, where our mission, for those of you that don't know, and welcome you if it's your first time, where our mission is to bring, like today, bring empowering guests on that share, just their journey along this thing called life and give you some tools that you can drop in your toolbox, right? Some empowering tools and solutions to that thing I talk about all the time, and that's that battling the life through the comeback, baby. Learning how to pick yourself back up, because we're either picking ourselves up, dodging, right, getting knocked down. Those of us out there know that we are meant for more, and fighting to the best of our ability to win this thing called life, right? And these guests come in, man, and today's guest is a phenomenal guy, a friend, and someone that has a passion around the subject matter that we're going to talk about. And again, just give you, that person out there that's looking for more, some information that you can use to change how your day's going, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about life. Oh, man, hit the reset button, refocus, re-engage, and then get busy. And my name is Geoff Tyson, and I'm the host, and I'm known as the Comeback King. And I got that name from folks that have seen me go through the struggles of life just like you have, but we keep getting up. We keep seeking information. We keep forgiving ourselves. We keep surrounding ourselves with better circles. And we don't give up no matter what, right? And so today's guest, I'm going to get right to it. And we may have some technical stuff going on. That's how it goes sometimes in this world of technology, but we're going to keep showing up. We're going to keep doing our thing, right? So again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just have you sit down, make sure you subscribe, set your notification bell up, call your friends, right? Get ready to take some good notes, right? And then most importantly, take the time after this is all over and go back and listen to what my man has to say and what we've talked about, and engage. Drop a note in the chat throughout this session on where you are, who you are, and how we're helping you. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section. This is a conversation in the new way of living. So please participate, right? Okay, enough of that. Just a real quick background on our next guest. I call him Bobby G, and met this gentleman a few years back, and he's just I'll start from where he is right now. He's a fairly new grandpa. 1 year in the books, right? And he'll talk a little bit about that. But then he's a businessman, a husband, successful business. He's an impact coach. He's worked with John Maxwell. He's been part of the Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins revolution in self-development and self-education industry. He's one of their key coaches in that space. And he's always done something that I think is really powerful. And all along, when he went from corporate America and the newspaper business to starting his own business with he and his wife, which is a whole other conversation, they focused on what we call second chance, folks, right? And built a community. I mean, hundreds of people, and over his lifetime impacted thousands of people who just needed another chance. Someone to reach back and grab them by the hand and pull them up. Not push them down, not hold them down, but pull them up. Reach out, like we talk about, and pull them up, man. So today's subject, we're going to just kind of hit the surface, and we'll probably have to come back for more. But it's about the community that we see in the streets all the time, right? The homeless folks, and man. So dial it up, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just stop talking and bring to the stage my friend and our next guest. I'm going to call him Bobby G from Arizona, baby. Let's see if we can get him up here.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Bob?
Good morning.
Good morning, man. How are you this morning?
Doing peachy, man. Having a fantastic day.
Doing peachy, having a fantastic day, and I didn't catch your daily motivator. I want to make sure that folks always go back and check those out. Guys, you got to go check this man out. Every day he shows up and delivers a promise of hope, and always asks and closes. You have two choices. So anyhow, enough of that. So
that's it.
Well, man, thank you for taking the time out, Bob, and being patient with us as we kick this show off. We had some delays in there, but man, what's going on in your life? I mentioned Grandpa,
Yeah. Yeah, new one. He's only 10 months old, and we watch him 3 days a week. My wife and I are blessed with that. And actually, she just left and took him on a little stroller walk around the neighborhood because he was getting kind of antsy. So,
yeah.
you know how they are when they're 10 months, man. He is scooting around like crazy. And I've childproofed the house, but he always finds something that I didn't find. So.
Hey, that's crazy, man. But that happens all the time. You sit down, you put your feet up, your head back, got it covered, and then you see them walking up with something that can hurt them. You're like, what?
Well, he's looking at it at a different level than I am, so he's always finding that thing.
Yeah. We gotta get out on our knees and kind of crawl around, man. I get it. Yeah, that's something, man. So congratulations on that. I know you've been talking.
Thank you. It's awesome, man.
So, Bob, let's kind of the subject that we're talking about, is one that, it's man, what do you do? It's so large, it's massive.
Yeah.
And the cities, it reaches all lives of all personalities, all backgrounds, and we either know someone that knows someone in the streets or had someone family members and ourselves in the streets. But before we get to that piece of it, tell me, let's back up a few, because I know you're in your journey in your corporate business. Well, tell people you're from New York, so I guess I gotta let you start there. Just kind of background on the family, and then we'll get into the other stuff, man.
Well, and thank you for that introduction. I appreciate it. Yeah, I grew up in Buffalo, New York. Very blessed. Kid in an Italian family. 300-400 cousins back there. I mean, if there's a Giambaluca, it's a unique name. They're probably related. So it was kind of pretty cool. And I left Buffalo after the snowy, cold years and traveled around the country. But just to summarize a little bit, I was in the corporate world. I was in the newspaper business for over 25 years. And a lot of my work in the newspaper business was in the area of due diligence. I mean, so we came into markets and areas and we evaluated process, productivity, profits, and people. And sometimes we affected people's lives in a negative way. And that played its toll on me. So my wife and I opened our own business, as you stated, and we specifically focused and hired second chance folks, people that needed that lifting hand, that help and that difference. And I've shared it with you before, man. I firmly believe that God placed us on this earth to make a difference. And if we're making a difference in one person's life, if we're helping one person be better today than they were yesterday, we're doing what the good Lord wants us to do.
Wow. But it's easy to say that, but man, sometimes things get in the way, and what we intend to happen doesn't necessarily come out the way we want to, and so there's people that say, yeah, I did that. I work with those people, and I had a whole bunch of reasons why it didn't work. But what do you think was your secret sauce? With that space.
Well, one, like I said before, one is my belief in the Lord, and my belief of why he put us here. And the other is belief in the people. Belief in the people that you're working with. Believe that, we all of us, I don't care who it is, all of us have made some bad decisions in life. Some of us made more bad decisions than another person, but we've all made bad decisions. And been there too. I mean, hey, come on! I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, man, and that's as far as I'm going to go. Okay,
that's enough. Yeah.
But we all have made bad decisions. I mean, life happens, man, and you know what? Life will continue to happen, and we'll continue to be able to make changes in that life. We can't go back and change yesterday.
That's right.
But we certainly can create new tomorrows.
That's right.
And to go back to your question, some people come with some really storied pasts. People have made some challenges that sometimes when I'm working with them, I'd be honest with some of the folks I'm working with. I would, dude, you are more powerful than I am because I could never have come out of what you just came out of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to understand it and respect that individual for what they did go through life. It may have not been the right choice, but you know what? They're here trying to make a new choice.
They got up one more time after being knocked down.
You know, Rocky said it in his movies, man. It's not how hard you get hit and how hard you get knocked down. It's the fact that you get back up again.
Yeah. And what do you do about it when you get back up?
That's it, man. I mean, you know, it's really, and that's to answer your question. I mean, that's a lot of it. It's not just. I remember in our old business when my wife and I had the business, we handled the financials for a lot of our clients. Our clients were newspapers, so we handled the money of their consumers. And I remember one of the publishers telling me he knew the people we were hiring. I didn't hide it; I shared it.
Yeah.
And he came to me one day and he goes, "Dude," he goes, I don't know if I want your team to be handling my customers' money and my customers' information." And I just looked at him, and his name was Jim. And I just said, "Jim, do you trust me?" He goes, "Yes, I do." And I said, "Well, I trust them.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that they're not going to do anything wrong." And he goes, "Enough said." And that guy used to request certain employees to be on his projects because he knew how effective they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just believing in him, man. Believe in it. You know what it is. I mean, I got a 10-month-old grandson. I believe in the things that he can do, and we believe that he can advance every single day. And we teach him things every single day.
Yeah.
And he amazes us because he does things every single day.
Yeah. Just to speak to that for a moment, we're a little ahead of you in the grandparent lane. So we're 3, 6, and 14-year-old now. And my wife was telling me just last night where they repeat everything they hear first. Whatever that might sound like. And so our youngest, they were at gymnastics, and I'll get back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
And they were outside and talking in the street, and then somehow our baby got a stone in her shoe. So she's sitting down to take the shoe off, and as she's sitting down, she says, "Oh, S, I got." Like she knew what she was talking about, right? And I've always been like, hey, they repeat what they hear. As long as they say it right, I'll give them some slack. So, but anyway, they hear everything, and they do have that ability.
Yes, they do.
We have a responsibility to pour into them and all that stuff, so they don't become a statistic.
Correct.
Because things can happen in people's lives, Bob. So you're doing these amazing things while you're in that business, and I mean, it was hundreds of people, right?
There is
that came through you and still in touch with you. And you were talking earlier, and I think you don't mind sharing. You referenced a young lady that was in the streets, and came across you and Susie and share how that the impact.
She was a victim of domestic violence. 18 years. And her domestic violence in her personal life was just a continuation of her upbringing when she was little. Her family life was not solid, so to speak. And just what you and I were just talking about, we have a responsibility as parents and grandparents. And unfortunately, her folks didn't live out that responsibility. And when I met her, it was probably a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. When I met her, she had just went into homelessness. She had just, her and her ex, he was not a very nice guy. It wasn't physical domestic violence. It was emotional and financial. And so basically she was out of the house with the clothes on her back, with her car, and with her 6-year-old son. And her 6-year-old son was high on the needs, high on the spectrum of special needs. And and just meeting her, I mean, I shared a little bit earlier with her. I mean, actually, she wrote me a testimonial earlier, and I'm just gonna read from that because it truly says it, is if that's okay.
Yeah. I think people need to hear it. Absolutely.
She said, my life had become completely unmanageable, and so was I. I couldn't even manage myself. She said, Bob showed me how to pull everything out of me that didn't serve me, how to take control of my life and progress my growth totally. She said that with my direction, that she wanted the direction she wanted her and her son to go in, that she got the results that she needed. She went from homelessness and broken to within 6 months, thriving and successful in most of the areas of her life.
Mm.
You know, and it's just, you know, she grew up not believing in herself. Her ex did not allow her to become the person that she wanted to be. What you got to do with these people, you asked it earlier, is you got to believe in. You got to, all of us, we got to believe in each other.
Yeah.
And you know, just sharing with her and believing with her, you know, yesterday ended last night, man. It's over with. You're not going to change it. You're not going to do anything about it. It's done. It's gone. Let it go.
Right.
Learn from yesterday. Learn from the lessons of yesterday, but don't live in them and dwell in them. Move forward to create better tomorrows.
Mm.
And that's the focus and the purpose that I took, not only with her, but with everybody that I work with. You know, we've all got things in our past that are good lessons that will teach us. Yeah. You know, it's kind of, it's going to teach us in one way or the other. The stove is hot, don't touch it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you know, that was really helpful. Do it one more time.
Right.
You know? And that's kind of what we got to work with, and what we got to help people that may unfortunately, out of no choice of their own, been in a bad situation or made a bad decision.
Right. Right.
You know, as long as they're not hurting somebody, killing somebody, beating somebody up, you know what, man, they're there to be able to be worked with and helped.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and that's the big thing. So it's, I know we are just here to kind of begin the conversation around this, and part of the technology piece is where all my notes are, and I don't have access to those. So I want to, you know, first of all, we're not claiming to be experts in this space.
No, not at all.
We have experience, and like many of us out here in this world, that see it every day.
Yeah.
Face to face with it, and we have choices at that time to walk by or have some pity for it or make judgment on it. So that's the realities of where we are.
Yes.
But like what you're talking about are some things like believing in them, you know, when no one else does, helping them believe in themselves. And many of us that are living in comfortable homes have struggles with that.
Yeah.
Right? And feeling good about themselves. So when you're in a space like that, what are some things, Bob, that people in their encounters can do that don't put them in harm, but that may just plant a seed? What would you say?
Well, you know, a lot of it all starts. You got to get out of your head, and you got to get into your heart.
Mm.
You know, we can't control the situations around us, but we can absolutely control what happens within us.
Yeah. You
know, and if we listen to ourselves too much, you know, I'm gonna compare listening to ourselves as like the hamster wheel.
Hmm.
If we listen to ourselves too much, that little wheel's going, I woulda, coulda, shoulda, what if, oh my gosh. That's what's going on in our head.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get out of our head. We got to talk to ourselves and tell ourselves those stories of positivity, of growth, of happiness, of joy, of next level.
Yeah.
So we live those. You know what I try to work with and teach them all. I mean, it's all in the way we start our day, and a lot of it is in the way we end our day.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? And you said it at the top of the deal. I mean, you know my mantra, and I tell everybody, we wake up with two choices every single day.
Yes, sir.
We can choose to have a great day. We can choose to have a positive day. We can choose to have a life-changing day or not.
Right.
That decision is ours. So when I wake up in the morning, I give thanks to my Lord and Savior, my higher power. Right. I thank him for the gift of this day. I thank him for the journey I'm about to embark on. I thank him for the people that are going to be in my life. And I pray and ask that I will make a difference in those lives.
Mm.
Now, the flip side of that is the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before you lay your head on the pillow, I teach all of my students, before you lay your head on the pillow, think of one thing that went successful today.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. It could have been, I walked down the street and I didn't fall. One thing that was successful today.
Yeah.
And give thanks and gratitude for that one thing, and have that one successful moment in your mind as you start to fall asleep. Because then throughout the night, you're going to be really living and dreaming and feeling about that success.
Yeah. I love that, Bob. We talk a lot about that in reference on the show too, about planting that seed at night, not only for yourself, but back to the children again. What did you give your children to think about, to dream about, to run a replay in their head about all night long? Was it loving and caring and inspiring, or was it something that you wish you could take back? Right? And because those very experiences are building character. They're building who that person is. They're building that belief system that we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're filling what I like to call a stinking thinking bank.
Yeah.
That we all pull off of, and that kind of runs our show when things go sideways on us, man. So but people would say, yeah, so I choose today. So today I chose all these great things, man. And then I get punched in the face. This thing called life.
Yeah.
What do you tell them then? I mean, how do you kind of keep the course correct?
Well, it's going to happen. It happens to all of us. I have it. You talk about it. It's called stinking thinking. Mm-hmm. It's imposter syndrome. It's the fear factor. It's anxiety. It's the what ifs of life. It's going to happen. Just don't let it take residence inside of you. Again, get out of your head and get into your heart. I mean, I try to help them realize and to release, even on those days, everything that doesn't serve them well, that doesn't serve them in a positive way. Empower them to take control of their lives. Take it back. Take that control, because that's the one thing they can control, is what's coming from within them. I try to nudge them and push them and guide them into, that happened. But you know what? When that happened, always look at it. What was the positive side of that? What did you learn not to do tomorrow? You know what I mean? That stuff's going to happen. And, and what did you learn not to do? And when you learn what not to do, you're clicking away at all that stuff that creates that junk in your life. And you're clicking away at all those things that won't make a difference or won't serve you. So now you know not to do that again. So even in those times of what you said, trouble, or I got punched in the face, realize how to move your head.
Don't keep standing there putting your head out there to be the bullseye, is what you're saying, right?
Exactly. Learn from it, man. Learn from it, and it's going to happen, but just take those moments of challenge and turn those into moments of opportunity for growth. Yeah. And for belief, and for just believing in yourself.
Man, but that all that sounds really good, and it's a real life thing, man. But so now you're out there, and you've been in the streets for a period of time. And the young lady that you mentioned, I think you said she was in the streets maybe 6 months.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
But have you had any experience with anyone that's been in the streets for a while? For some years, and what's that look like?
Yeah, I've yes. To answer your question, I've had folks that have been out there for 4 years, 5 years. I've had folks that have been in the streets for 8, 10 years. They served time because of things that they did while they were in the streets, and they're coming back in, and you got to help them. You got to help them believe in themselves. You gotta listen to them. You got to be patient. And this goes not just for the demographic that we're talking about. This just goes for life. You got to be patient with folks. You got to listen with an intentional, open, and non-judgmental ear. You really got to do that. You got to let them let go of what's inside of them that is stopping them from becoming the person that they desire to be.
Mm.
You got to let that go. I don't care if they've been on the street 6 months, like the young lady I described, or 5, 6, 7 years, like some of the other folks that I've worked with. You got to let them get that out.
Yeah.
They got to release it, because if they don't release it, they're holding on to it. It's like I said earlier, they're holding on and they're dwelling in yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and that feeds that whole stinking thinking perspective and all those things, Bob. But the reality is that, man, yeah, it's so large and
it's huge. It's huge.
And money helps a lot of things. Employment helps a lot of things. This space that I'm going to mention, the medical side of it, and mental illness, I should say,
correct,
is really evident. When you're walking down the street and you see somebody standing there talking to themselves and they're having a conversation, and you get closer and you realize that conversation is with themselves and the air and the street pole and the things that go on like that. Man, have you had anyone that you've had to help in that space? And if not,
I haven't anyone that was deep into the mental anguish or issues like that. But what I have learned in this journey is, depending upon where the person lives, because I help all over the place. Okay. So depending upon where the person lives, do your research when you get to talk with them, or as you're working with them, do your research before, so you can find those services that are beneficial to help them in the areas that they may be struggling, that you may not be qualified for.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So do your research so you can go out. I know I was working a lot in Southern Cal, and the organization that I was working with, they were amazing, man. They were awesome. They allowed people, they got to the root cause of the problem of the person becoming homeless. Someone didn't wake up one day and just say, oh, I'm going to be homeless today.
Yeah.
There was a journey that caused that. So the organization that I was working with brought them out of that journey and created the solution, fixing what was the root cause of the problem, so the individual now can create a life that no longer had that issue within it. And through that relationship with them, I learned of other, just what you said, other service providers that can help more specifically. And you just got to learn on where to guide them through it. The other thing you got to teach folks, and all of us, technology is good, but technology is that immediate gratification.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's that immediate gratification. And, one thing my dad used to teach me, and I've shared this with you before, Geoff, my dad used to drill it into me growing up. Because there'd be some days I go, damn it, that needs to change. That needs to happen. My father used to go, hey, speed kills. And I don't only mean on the highways.
Yeah.
So when Dad was trying to tell me that if I rushed it, if I sped through it, I was going to miss certain things, and I was going to wind up having to do it over anyway because I didn't do it correctly.
Yeah. So
one thing you teach the folks that are going through these, especially those that have been in it for a while, it took you a while to get where you're at.
Yeah.
So it's going to take us a little while to get where you need to go.
Mm.
So you have to have patience. You have to realize that speed kills. It's only if you speed through this, you're not going to take care of the things that got you to where you are.
Yeah.
One step at a time, like when we were a baby, man, to talk about my little guy, one step at a time, 1 foot at a time. You got to teach them how to walk before they can run. Then you got to teach them how to run before they can, do a marathon. You got to go ahead. Speed kills. You got to give them patience. Yeah. You got to teach them patience. And patience is not a virtue that many of us have, myself included. You know what I mean? So does that make sense to you, Geoff? Is that making any sense to you?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. And it's really, it may sound simple because it really is. It's part of human nature, but it's a part that everybody's got their own crap going on, and we're all busy. And as you mentioned earlier about all the things outside that we can't control, but that has an effect on how we do things and how we see
it. It does, certainly.
You know, and so this conversation really is about just having one and then sharing this information, and then maybe some folks have some comments or some feedback or some connections that can provide help for folks that are going there. I mean, but it needs to. I was just thinking, in Texas, there's certain towns, the homelessness community is vast, large,
Yeah,
and of all walks of life, genders, and some of them are still working, but life has shown up and they're out of their house and their car. I mean, so there's people out there that are there's always that person that says, well, if they just get a job, you know, why don't they just get a job or stuff like that, man?
it's not always that easy.
It is. Why don't you get another job and then, you know, if you guys, I won't stop that, but it's not that easy, man. So how do we temper that perspective, or we just, you know,
well, again, it's that, you know, being grateful for what you've been blessed with, being grateful for the gift of the life that God gave you, and to realizing, you know, that can change it with one bad decision.
Mm.
So when you see those individuals, when you see one of the things when Susie and I owned the company, you see these cats on the side of the road every now and then, got a sign, food, can you help? Can you donate? I used to always pull up to them and I used to give them my information. And obviously it was closer to where our office was because not everybody has transportation. But I used to give them my information. I said, you call me tomorrow, you'll have a job by tomorrow night. And many of them would come in and, you know, I hired a lot of them. Some of them I couldn't hire, but I had friends that worked in other companies that were more suitable and they would hire them. So it's just given a chance, man. It's you know, I'll put you out there, I'll try, but you've got to that person's got to be ready for it as well. Too. We all have to be ready for it. That if I haven't got to that spot, you know, let's look at something that all of us, weight loss. If I'm not ready to give up that ice cream or to give up that pizza, I'm Italian, you know what I mean? If I'm not ready to do that, then weight loss is not going to happen for me.
No,
you know what I mean?
A roller coaster.
Exactly. You know, you're going to gain and lose the same weight all the time. You know what I mean? And the same goes for people that are in this walk of life. If they're not ready, then it's not going to change. And that's why when I work with them, I try to empower them to be ready. I try to encourage them through going through their yesterday, realizing what yesterdays were, stop living there, and starting with a fresh slate for today.
Yeah.
And some of those guys that, that you work with, let me tell you what, man, I had a lot of people that came to us with some very, very, very storied past. You and I have talked about it before. Yeah. You know, gun carrying, drug selling, gangbangers, man.
Yeah.
I had to learn a whole new journey in life so I could help them. Actually, that's what got me into this whole life coaching world, is because I wasn't equipped to help them all. So I went and got certified through Maxwell and Tony Robbins and all of that stuff, and continue to stay in that space.
Yeah.
Because man, some of them were like, whew.
Well, you know, and unfortunately, people encounter them, and they're still in there. That element is still part of how they operate, and then the judgment is made, and then the desire to help is not there anymore, and the judgment keeps rolling, man. So I was thinking of a story as you were talking about. I have a colleague who has a construction business, and to your point, what you were just sharing, he some guy showed up. He made the same offer. Guy showed up to work the next day, grateful. Came early, stayed late. Did that for a couple of weeks. But to those of you out there that think it's doesn't take some patience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, patience and understanding that it's like they're in a whole new level of space, and you're dealing with all the thinking of years and all the rejection, all of those things, and because that conversation is running in their head, even though they're looking, they got them changed. That thing is still running in their head, man. And eventually, the guy, he started to, he was there early. He even gave him a place to stay in one of the shops, right? And so he was showered and doing this, and over a period of time, 3-4 weeks, he began that battle he was fighting.
Yeah,
started to win, and he ended up back where he started. But I admire my friend. He says, you know what, that one didn't work, but I'm going to keep trying.
That's right. Don't stop. You have to help. For those of us that are blessed in life, we have to help set them up, the people that we want to help, set them up for success. I'll give you a little hack that we did in our business. Many companies pay on Fridays. Payday's a Friday. That's, that just seems to be the general way, but we didn't do that. Because I knew that if that money got in the hands of some of those folks that I was working with, I wouldn't see them on Monday. Yeah. I wouldn't see them on Tuesday. I wouldn't see them on Wednesday.
You may never see them again.
Or I'd see them when the money ran out.
Yeah.
We paid on Mondays.
Mm.
We paid on Mondays, and when we paid them, we encouraged them. We told them. We actually wrote it on the envelope. From our clients and their customers, we let them know that they were making a difference in the lives of other people. And we paid them on Mondays on the belief that they would take care of their financial responsibilities throughout the week before they could get to that weekend.
Mm.
And you know what? Many of the folks, a lot of them used to tell us, man, I had money left over by Friday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they learned how to balance that. It's the little hacks. It's the little things that are second nature to many of us.
Yeah.
But it's having that patience and having that care and realizing that God put you here to make a difference.
Yeah.
Just like you work with your grandchildren and we work with ours, these are human beings, man.
Yeah.
We just got to work with them. There's certain things that have gone in their life that the young lady that we were talking about in the beginning, her family didn't give her the upbringing, so she made the wrong choice in a partner.
Right.
Right. You got to give them that. You got to give them that stability. And does it work all the time? No, it doesn't.
Right. It doesn't.
But does it work more than it does? Look, I think I shared with you before. If you don't mind, I'm going to digress with one of the kids. Drug selling, gang banging, gun carrying kid. If you remember, he started to work for me when he was 18. I fired him 3 times. 3 times I fired him. But there was something about this kid that I knew that there was something inside of him.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to fast forward 30 years. He's a pastor, a father of 4, and he performed my daughter's wedding ceremony.
Wow.
Talk about a life-changing perspective.
Yes. That's amazing.
He's one of my best friends, and like I said, I didn't ask him to perform the ceremony. My daughter knew of him through my wife's work with him. She called him up and asked him to perform the ceremony.
Man, that's amazing.
Believe in someone. Give them the benefit. Help them. Empower them. Share with them. Celebrate their wins with them, no matter how big or how small those wins are. I don't know if you can hear my grandson. He's home. He's not happy. So I don't know if you can hear him right now.
Hey, I know. I mean, I'll listen for him, but hey, this is the new world, man.
Hey, this is live work, man. This is life.
This is what you get live, man. Sometimes I always remind people, hey, before you get up, if you're sitting behind your desk and you got your PJs on or your DVDs, man, remember before you get up, because the world's going to see something you don't want to see, right?
Yep.
So no, he's fine, man.
And again, man, everybody, my dad, another dadism of mine, and you've known me for years, so I'm all into my dadisms and stuff like that.
Yep.
I was really blessed. My dad was a really cool dude.
Yep.
One thing my dad used to tell me, especially when I followed him in the newspaper business. So when I got my first director's job, if you will, my dad used to tell me all the time, he goes, I want you to remember this one thing. We all put our pants on the same way every single day.
That's right.
One leg at a time.
That's right.
You're no better or no worse than the guy next to you. You just happen to be sitting in the chair right now. So make sure you use that wisely to help another.
Yeah.
And that's exactly so. You said it a minute ago. Some of us look at these folks and we look at them with a different light. You know what, man? They put their pants on the same way you did this morning.
Yeah.
One leg at a time, man.
One leg at a time. My pops told me the same thing, and he said, "Now the pants you're putting on may be a couple dollars, and theirs may be 1,000. But this is why this conversation is important, because where you sit right now doesn't dictate where you're going to end up."
Correct.
So if you choose to if that's what's important to you, and you want $1,000 pair of pants, then you have to have a certain character, right? And in that character, it's about serving. It's about appreciating who you are as the person right then, and being grateful that you got a pair of pants to put on, because some people didn't have pants to put on.
That's right. That's right.
Some people had to wear pants that were handed down, and they were over their ankles. I think that's what the word came. What was it? Ankle high. What's the word with the pants were short? I'm talking about hippie days now. What was
it? I don't remember, man.
High waters, I think, man.
High waters. That was it. High waters. That's it. Yeah, high waters.
So, sorry to get off.
That's cool. I mean, look, man, we all go through struggles in life.
Yeah.
And all I ask for all your viewers and all the folks that are out there, just remember that the guy next to you is going. It's like on the freeway, man. If that guy had to get ahead of me by one car if he was driving crazy, I'm not going to be angry with him. There might be something that's going on in his or her life, man. Maybe they're trying to get home to a loved one. Maybe they're trying to get to the hospital. Give them the benefit of the doubt, dude. Now, if someone's physically hurting you, that's a different story.
Different conversation.
Totally different conversation. But I'm just talking about, who cares what in the case of driving? Who cares what that extra 10 feet on the freeway is going to do?
Especially when you end up at the same light.
Exactly. Walking in a building, hold the door.
Yeah.
Who cares if that person steps through the threshold before you do?
Yeah.
What's the difference, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nothing like that. Just patience, love, gratitude. I mean, those are the things that we got to have for each other.
Yeah.
And then in the folks that are less fortunate than us, we have to have that intentional, purposeful ear to listen to them, to help them, to acknowledge them, and to serve them. And serving is sometimes just lending a helping hand. Yeah. Sharing a warm smile, saying hello.
Yeah.
Recognizing someone. One practice that I do, and I think you probably do it the same way. Wherever I am, if I'm in a store, if I'm in a grocery store, if I'm in a restaurant, wherever I am, and I see that name tag, I address them by that name.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I address them by, and if they don't have a name tag, I usually ask them what their name is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just recognizing.
Yeah, and it's funny when you say that, because sometimes I'll call them by their name, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that is my name. How'd you know?" They have the badge, So we all want to have some level of recognition.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care who you are. You can act like that. Doesn't matter. But that's a crock. It does.
It does.
We're human beings. We have emotions. We have and those emotions create feelings, and those feelings either support us or they drag us down.
Yeah.
So, well, man, listen. We're kind of winding down. I've been taking some notes, so if you see me going down, I love to and encourage everybody to go back and and replay. It's just it seems pretty common sense, but how common sense is not common anymore.
No, it's common sense, and it can be difficult, especially for the person that doesn't feel it here. Yeah, it's got to like again, get out of your head, get into your heart, man. You know what I mean? Help each other. You talk about my morning motivators, and I do them on Facebook and LinkedIn every single day. And, I just put those out there because someone's going to hear it that needed that message that day to help them to make the choice to have a great day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I gotta hit this morning on Instagram. And it almost brought me to, I'm going to get emotional. And it almost brought me to tears. My youngest daughter is a school teacher.
Yeah.
And so that's the baby. That's, she dropped Henry off this morning. And then she did on her Instagram, she went ahead and put out there, she was driving to her school and she was playing my motivator. She goes, love getting some of my dad's messages each morning. You know what? Because today's morning was about peak your ability.
Oh, nice.
It was about ability, and basically what it was sharing is that ability is what we're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Motivation determines what we do, and attitude determines how well we're going to do it. And that's a quote by Lou Holtz. But my point, my daughter sends that Instagram out. I didn't even know she was listening to these things every morning because I know that she starts her day at 7 o'clock in the morning or 6:30 in the morning as a school teacher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And awesome. And actually, I didn't even see the Instagram. Susie goes, "Did you see Morgan's Instagram this morning?" And I said, "No, I didn't." She goes, "Take a look."
Wow.
If we make a difference in one person's life, we're doing what the good Lord wants us to do. I don't care whoever your higher power is, your higher power wants us to make a difference.
That's right.
Because when we make a difference in other people, guess what? We're making a difference in ourselves.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I just heard a message around that the other day where when we sacrifice what we feel like is our last whatever it might be, and do it with an open heart, without expectation, then the payback is 10 times what you're small in your mind. That whole thing you were holding on to so tightly, to let go of, right? So, well, hey man, listen, Bob, bro, we could certainly be here for a while. So, how do people get a hold of you? And this time, I got one question for you when you get done with that. Well,
they can go as you got posted here underneath my photo. Bob@differencemakers.az.com is my email address. But they can find me under my name, Bob Giambaluca, on Facebook or on LinkedIn.
And Daily Motivator, is that just what it is?
It says what it is. It's on Facebook and it's on LinkedIn. It's a motivational message that I post each and every morning. If they'd like to get that in their email, they hit me up through the email and send me their address, and I'll send those out through email. But if they want to watch the video portion of it, that's on Facebook and that's on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And that's Monday through Friday. I do take the weekends off because I try to make sure I take care of my lovely bride.
That's right.
So I do take the weekends off, but I do post them Monday through Friday.
And I would encourage everybody to dial in, get it on email. That way it shows up every day, and whether you can see it when he's live, you can get the replays, and he's consistent with that, and the message is on point, and we all could use something to balance that stinking thinking that shows up.
Yeah.
We get this great plan for the day, and then we're all excited, and we walk out the door, and life hits us with something that we didn't anticipate or forgot about, and then what do we do?
Yeah. You got to have some resource to go ahead and draw back on and pull back on to try and go like, oh, I heard that. Just like what you said. I heard this the other day. Yeah. And everything we're doing is not unique.
Yeah.
You know, it's really out there in life. You know, guys like you and I are just blessed to be able to share it,
Yeah.
and share it again and share it again, and actually utilize it to make a difference in the lives of others.
Yeah. Well, man, listen, I think we can pretty much close on that. I think what you said is just kind of summarizes everything. But I do want to give you, if there's, I know you always like to have one point of reference. Is there anything from all the things that you said, how would you summarize it? And then we'll let you get out of here.
You know, I'm going to summarize it with what I say every single day. We awake with two choices every day, man.
Yeah.
We can choose to have a great day. We can choose to be a positive force. We can choose to be a difference maker or not.
Yeah.
The choice is ours. You hear me say that every time. The choice is yours to make. And that's exactly what it is, man. It's our choice.
It is, bro. So listen, man, thank you so much for all of that. And I want to kind of maybe revisit this subject matter because we had some more in-depth points that we weren't able to get to for those that need more detail and need more meat. But if you're interested, I encourage you to reach out to Bob and or me, and then we can kind of add you to this because this is something we'll be coming up with. And we have something exciting coming up too for some coaches out there. So stay tuned for that. Bob, I want to thank you so much for your time today and for bringing Bob to the table and leaving with some really powerful things for anyone that wants to make a difference, that can make a difference.
Well, I want to thank you guys. I thank you guys all. I appreciate you allowing me to share this time with you and to be here with you. I'm very, very grateful.
We are as well, my friend. Take care, and we'll talk again soon, brother. I'll see you.
God bless you. Bye-bye. See you, everybody.
All right. Hey, well, listen, I just want to summarize this whole thing by encouraging you to get on his daily motivators. They are really the thing that juice that you have to have, man, when you think like, you can't take one more step. And then if you get into a habit of checking them out every day, it just begins to build and it gives you that energy, gives you that focus, gives you that reset ability, right? Just start focusing on developing our reset muscle, man. Listen, life shows up throughout the day, all day, every day. And how do we handle it? How do we reset? And thinking, right, is just part of life. And I always say this about life, we're either in the battles of a comeback, just starting one, or just finishing. So today's message gives you a lot of things. For those of you out there that want to make a difference in people's lives out in the streets and find some connection, please reach out to us. This is something that, again, we just wanted to initiate the conversation around with more detailed stuff coming. And as always, I want to remind you, yes, I do, when you look in the mirror, I want you to tell yourself that you are worthy of success. Nothing shall stop you from reaching your destiny. You shall not be denied. Stinking thinking will not be the reason that you don't win today. And yes, some days you just kind of get through the day and be grateful that you're done. But like Bob said, one thing before you close your eyes at night that you did well, that had an impact, with one little thing, and you play that through the night. And when you wake up in the morning, I guarantee you'll have a different perspective than you will from watching the news, having an argument, right? Carrying all the luggage from yesterday. So I want you to try that. And remember this. We believe in you. You are worthy of success. And that stinking thinking no longer has to keep you stuck. We'll see you on the next episode. Go back and check this thing out and share it and reach out to Bob. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.